I have a 20-year plan. So I have a dot on the horizon where I want to be in 20 years. And every day I'm thinking new ways, how can I reach this 20-year goal?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the program. I'm sitting here with Nicki. Nicki, thank you so much for being part of the program today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, ma'am. For those who are not familiar with the work you're doing, let them know about yourself.
Well, my name is Nicki Van Ingen Schenau. I'm Dutch and I live in Amsterdam. And I came back in 2021 to Amsterdam after having lived in Tokyo for 10 years, where I started my own company. I have 50 people working for me, and what I do is I provide bespoke, private, guided tours with local experts from the tip of the north in Hokkaido of Japan to the tip of the south in Okinawa, Japan, and anything in between. So if you're traveling to Japan and you need a private tour guide, then you should go to tokyotours.nl and book your guided tour with us.
That is amazing. So talk a little bit about making that shift, because I would assume there is somewhat of a culture shock, right? When you move from one land to another, one country to another. Can you talk a little bit about that culture shock you may have experienced?
From Netherlands to Japan or the other way around?
Let's start from Netherlands to Japan.
Yeah, well, I was dating this Japanese guy and we were living together for 5 years in Amsterdam. And he was native Japanese, but had been brought up in Amsterdam, traveled with his parents as a baby. So when we were together for 5 years, he suddenly came up with this idea, like, how would you feel about living in Japan for 2 or 3 years? And I thought, yeah, well, sounds good. So I didn't really give it much thought. So I said, yeah, let's see if you can find a job. I'm fine with it. Let me know. So that was 2010. In 2011, he was like, yeah, I got a job and I'm going to Japan. Are you coming with me? So I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I was like, yeah, I have my bachelor's degree. I have a lot of experience. I was around 34 at the time. And I thought, oh, it would be easy to find a job. I mean, Tokyo, Paris, New York, basically similar kind of cities, like a city. But no, in Japan, no one speaks English. So wherever I went, it was, oh, okay, so you're fluent in Japanese, right? I was like, not really. So they'd be like, yeah, we'll be in touch, we'll call you. So after 50 applications that went nowhere, I was like, okay, so this isn't working clearly. So let me just study Japanese for a while and then I'll be fluent and I can get a job. So in the beginning, I didn't speak a word of Japanese when I came there. So I was in the supermarket and I would be like, why doesn't it just say milk? Why can't they just put milk on the carton? How hard is that? So I'd be like, what is this? Is this regular milk or soy milk or rice milk or what is it? So I just grab one thinking, well, maybe, let's see. Or my husband would be like, hey, honey, can you pick up some rice? So there would be like this whole aisle with rice. It looked all the same to me. And I would just grab a bag and he would be, what did you just bought? This is totally the wrong thing. I'm like, it's rice, isn't it? Is there a difference? It seems all the same to me. So yeah, I had a lot of like, oh, is it salt or sugar or what? Or I'd be in a shop and they would only sell like whole fishes with everything still in and on there, so no fillets. And I'd be like, so this is my job. How are you gonna do this? We would look on YouTube, how to gut a fish. Oh, okay, this doesn't look nice.
It sounded like it was a process just to get acclimated. I mean, now you're giving tours, obviously, but that process to getting acclimated, I mean, so many times we jump to what seems like a great opportunity, but there's that adjustment period. How did you maintain focus or overcome whatever hurdle during that adjustment period?
Yeah, well, basically, I came there. I had like zero expectations. So at first, I was just walking around, and that was before Google Maps. So I just had a literal map.
Uh-huh.
And I was, as long as there's a subway station nearby, I know how to find my way back because I know which subway station is closest to our house. So
Mhm.
I was able to like, Eki was the first thing that I learned, like station.
Mhm.
So I would point to the map like Eki, doko, and then someone would be like, oh yeah, just go that way. And so at first I was just exploring in town, and I got to involved in the Dutch club because there's like a Dutch social club, and
Mhm.
I joined immediately, became part of the board, and was busy arranging events and that kind of thing. So I did have something to do, but the main issue I had was Dutch women generally are very independent, so we all have our jobs and our life and our own money, and no one tells us what to do. So I was there, I had no money, I had no job. Like, if you meet someone, the first question they ask is like, so what do you do? And I would be like, nothing, housewife, studying
Walk
Japanese.
around.
I'm just gonna grab a drink. I'll catch you later. Like, so it really felt like I had no identity anymore. Like I
Mm.
wasn't a legitimate person, and no one was interested in even getting to know me. So yeah, it was a real hard adjustment. And also, we would have these dinners with the friends of my husband, and they would ask me like one question in English. So, how do you like Japan? And then move to the person next to them to start a conversation in Japanese. And everyone
Mhm.
was just speaking Japanese the whole time. And I would just be sitting there like, would it be rude if I check my Facebook underneath the table? Watching, looking at my watch, like, how long is this going to take? How many more courses? When can I go home? Oh yeah, it was horrible. And at one point, I said to my husband, please just go to these dinners by yourself. Don't take me anymore because it's just, I don't know what to do. I feel very uncomfortable and awkward, and people don't seem to want to have me there. So just go by yourself.
So you arrive to this place, you go through this process of really discovering how you fit in into this community, how you fit in with these group of people that surround you. How do we get from the Nicki that's going through all these difficulties to the Nicki that's now giving tours to people in this place?
Well, it was actually one small act of kindness that got me there. So about 2 years in, March of 2013, one of my friends who is a flight attendant for the Royal Dutch Airlines,
Mhm.
she came over, and I was having like a proper bitching session, like, oh, I hate it here. I don't speak Japanese fluently. I'm studying for 2 years. I still can't get a job, and I still don't have my own money. I have to ask for money just to buy simple groceries. It's just terrible. And she was like, why don't you become a tour guide? I was like, a tour guide? I don't know anything about tourism. I never started my own business, let alone in Japan.
Mhm.
How am I gonna do that? And she said, well, why don't you just create a website, just something simple, and make sure you have an email address, and I'll take care of the rest. So I thought, oh, this is one of those cases where people are like, yeah, I'm gonna help you, and then you never hear from them again.
Right.
Just to be on the safe side, I created the website and the email address with absolutely zero expectations of anything happening after that. And after 1 week, I received an email on this email address like, hey, yeah, I read this review that you give guided tours in Tokyo, and I'd love to book a guided tour with you. And I was literally dumbstruck, like, oh my God, I was so not prepared for that. I had nothing ready. I was like, oh my God, I need to scramble and get everything in order. And what am I going to show them? I have no products, no services, no prices, nothing. So I was
Right.
like, oh God, I have a week to get this sorted out. So it was like flying start, so to speak. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. And the only wrench in the wheel, so to speak, was COVID. It
Mhm.
was supposed to be the best year ever because of the Olympics. So I
Right.
even had to let people down, like, sorry, we're fully booked, cannot accept your booking. And then the first 2 months of 2020, it was like, oh, okay, so no one can come in from Korea or China. So
Mhm.
I was like, oh, that's great. So many opportunities for all our travelers who are from Europe and the States. So they
Mhm.
won't have all these buses with crowds everywhere and they can just leisurely see everything. And
Mhm.
then March rolled around and it was like, actually, change of plan. No one is coming in. No one's going out unless you don't want to come back at some point, because that's the end. So there
Mhm.
were people who went away for like funerals or to visit family. And
Mhm.
then Japan was like, yeah, go F yourself. I don't care. You're not coming back in. Even people with permanent residency and people that had jobs in Japan was like,
Mhm.
no, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, there were a lot of my friends had to stay outside of Japan for a while because they happened to be somewhere
Mhm.
else when the border closed.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a whole thing, and I didn't have an income for about 2 years with my business, so I was really suffering. But yeah, fortunately, last October the border with Japan opened up again, and during COVID, I was like, yeah, I think it would be a good time for me to go back to Amsterdam. I had partnered up with someone in 2018. So I have someone who does all the local stuff that I don't necessarily have to focus on. So that gave me the freedom to come back to Amsterdam. And I thought, well, at least here I have a better chance of getting some residual income to supplement the fact that I'm not
Mhm.
earning for Tokyo tours anymore. And yeah, basically that's how I came back in Amsterdam. So yeah, it's good to be back.
You mentioned something very interesting, which was that when you had this friend who just came up with this idea, you had nothing ready, you had nothing, no expectations, no idea even what it was going to look like, but you just took the leap and said, "Let's try it."
Yeah.
Oftentimes, individuals actually are allow fear to paralyze them and not move forward. I'm sure you may have felt some type of fear. So how did you move beyond any type of fear or doubt or any type of trepidation?
Yeah, well, basically, I had not given it a lot of thought, and I thought, oh, nothing will come of this. I will just create this website and email address, and I will hear nothing after
Mhm.
that. So, and also, just I was thinking like, I don't know if I can really meet people's expectations. Maybe they expect like someone who's a complete expert on anything Japan related, like Japanese history and Japanese culture. I mean, I knew some things,
Mhm.
but I definitely would not consider myself an expert. So I started out with relatively low prices because I felt that um I was also investing in myself, in learning more about Japan and learning more about the intricacies and like all the stuff that you cannot read in the guidebook. So I could have some added value. So the first year, my prices were exceptionally low because I felt like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's like a trial period for me too. Do I really want to do this? Do I want to continue with this? What are the reactions? Can I get people to give me a review, that kind of thing? And then actually a couple of months in the summer of 2013, a lady, she emailed me and she said, oh, I see that you do guided tours, would you consider hiring me? So I was like,
Mhm.
No, I never considered hiring anybody, but actually that sounds like a great idea because it would be nice to have a day off occasionally. So let's see if we can work something out. And yeah, basically all the best ideas I've ever had were things that just came into my life without me making a conscious decision to do so. My business partner as well. In 2018, I decided that I wanted to sell the company because we were thinking about moving back to Europe. So I talked to one of my employees who had been working for me for several years. And I said, well, I'm thinking about moving back. I'm thinking about selling the company. How would you feel about buying the company from me? And she said, that's a terrible idea. So I was like, oh, okay. And she said, well, but I have another idea. How would you like me to become your partner?
Mm.
And I said, well, I hadn't given it any thought. How do you envision this? What is your idea about it? And actually, she is very strong and focused on all the things I'm bad at and that I really don't like doing. And I'm more of the creative brain and PR person and the one that raises the brand awareness, and she prefers to stay on the background. So we are such a good complementation of each other. The only thing where we really differ is she's very risk averse and I'm the total opposite. So I sometimes run a bit too fast and she is too apprehensive and creating problems that are not even there and want to talk about it for hours. Like, yeah, but what if this happened? And like, it's not even an issue. Can we please drop it? So that's where we sometimes clash a little bit. But other than that, she's like the husband I wish I could have.
There are at the beginning of the year, there are so many people that establish goals or New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And some other individuals do not establish goals, but rather they decide to establish a one word. And this one word anchors everything they do for the year. In that spectrum, where do you find yourself? Are you more leaning towards New Year's resolutions and writing down goals, or do you just establish one word?
Neither. I have a 20-year plan. So I have a dot on the horizon where I want to be in 20 years. And every day I'm thinking new ways, how can I reach this 20-year goal? So my 20-year goal is where I'm living now is my own property, and it's already raised the value 3 times of the original purchase price. And it's also in like the financial hub of Amsterdam, very close to the airport. So it seems like it will probably increase in price even more the longer I stay here. So yeah, I'm just thinking of ways, how can I reach the 20-year goal, which is to sell the house and take the proceeds, buy a piece of land on Okinawa Island, because the island is so big. If you want to go from one side to the other, you have to drive by car for 3 hours. So there's lots of pristine beaches. So I want to buy a beachside plot, build a house, build a rental shack with something that is that requires little maintenance, so like canoes or something made out of plastic, and or like surfboards or whatever, and hire a couple of students to take care of all of that, and get another place that has like simple food and some cocktails. And in the summer I'll just be there and supervise it, and then in the winter I'm going to take the proceeds and travel around. And hopefully I can find a nice person that I can share this dream with, because I'm currently single. So yeah. So so that is my long-term plan. And so what happens on a yearly basis doesn't really matter that much, because I have this long-term plan. And if today it doesn't work, then I'm going to try something else tomorrow. I basically learned that, basically, like RuPaul says, if people aren't paying your bills, pay them bitches, no mind. So that is my life motto. I don't care what anyone thinks of me or what I do, as long as I'm not purposefully hurting anyone. I don't care what they think about me or say about me or want from me. I'm just going my own course. If you're here for the ride and you want to jump on and get along, then fine. And if not, that's also fine. I mean, there's 8 billion people in this world. So if something isn't working out, either in a business sense or as a friend or in your love life or a relative or whatever, do not get stuck on one idea or one person or one thing. Just move on, and there will be another person or another opportunity waiting around the corner that you just haven't thought of yet. So don't waste your tears and don't waste your time, and things will happen for you. You just need to believe in yourself and just keep going, and good things will come your way.
You said that you neither have a yearly goal because you have this long-term vision of where you'd like to be. And so you look for opportunities to move towards that. And it's clear based upon what you're saying, right? It's clear that you're consistently looking for these opportunities that show up so you can move closer towards that long-term goal. So you neither set these New Year's resolutions nor have a one word that anchors the entire year. My question to you is, if you were to establish a one word that encompassed your entire life's work, what would that one word be?
Perseverance. Just keep going. No excuses. You are made for success. And if you keep at it, other people will start noticing, and they will appreciate you for who you are. And if they don't, then clearly they are not worth your time. So move on and find someone who does. So yeah, I'm a yes and person. So if someone comes up with any kind of idea, no matter how crazy it is, my first response is not to say no, but to first think about it. So how can I make this work? What's in it for me? And if I think, yeah, well, this might work, I feel it's better to try something and fail than to look back and think, oh, I should have done that, or what would have happened if. So even if something doesn't work out, it's still a learning opportunity. So it's never a total fail, because you can learn from your mistakes and grow and become better the next day. So if you're hesitating whether to do something, yes or no, always choose yes, because it's gonna work out. And if not, then you'll learn from it. So it'll be fine.
Nikki, for those who are connected and want to get connected with you, how could they do so?
Well, you can either follow my personal Instagram account. That's Nicki, NICKI_Amsterdam. Or you can find me on any social media platform under my business name, which is Tokyo Tours, and that is spelled the Dutch way with an I and not a Y. So TOKIOTOURS, Tokyo Tours. And my website is www.tokyotours.nl, and I'm Nicki at tokyotours.com. I still have the .com website too, but the .nl one is better. So
awesome. Nicki, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's been fun.
Yes, ma'am.